Hi, my name is Christian. I will dominate Rivera, and I'm the jungler for Team Curse. I grew up in Miami, Florida. I had pretty much a normal family, played sports, and just like hung out. Florida's actually really nice because like unlike other places, you can play sports all year round. So like when I was a kid, I just like loved it. I guess I was like a music geek, but like the dynamic of my school was that like music people weren't looked down upon. I know like the normal thing was like, oh, like people like are beating up like the nerds or like play music and stuff, but that wasn't how my school was at all. We had like a really good music program, and it was kind of like being on a team. It was exactly that same like team dynamic, and like you had to like exercise teamwork with all your like with all the people that were in like the orchestra or jazz band. You feel a ton of pressure. For example, when we performed in Carnegie Hall, it's like this famous hall. Everyone knows it, and you're just like afraid to mess up completely. So that same type of pressure is the pressure that you feel when you're playing in front of like 200,000 people on like a League of Legends stream. So it just got me used to being able to perform under pressure, being able to kind of block it out, and be able to like do my best when it matters. As time went on, like I said, I realized that I didn't want to be a musician, and I started looking for something else. And the thing that caught my eye was psychology, because I was really interested in like the human mind and like how people think about certain things, and, like how people process situations and things like that. So I got into psychology from there, and I was like 1 year from completing my degree, and I got offered to join Team Dignitas. And after joining it, I realized that there was really no chance to go to school because we had tournaments. Pretty much like every month we had a major international tournament where we miss up to like a week of school. So it just it wasn't worth me to keep going at that point, and I've just been being a pro gamer ever since. I pretty much had a standard college life, just pretty much what everyone just expects when they go to college, just hanging out with people, like going out a lot with like your friends, and like going out with like my whole floor, which was Walsh 3. We would always like go out like to either South Beach or Coconut Grove or like parties like that. And one time I guess I had like an unfortunate experience. I ended up getting robbed at gunpoint by 3 kids, and after that I just like didn't really want to go out that much anymore. Like I said that I was just like bored of it, but in reality it was just like kind of a scary experience. Like I'd never really been in a situation like that, like having a gun in my face, like things like that. So I kind of got scared from going out as much as I used to, and I started staying home more, and I looked for a game to play because I hadn't been playing games for like a year and a half. So I was like, oh, like, what's out there? So I literally just Googled Dota-like games, and I found Heroes of New Earth and League of Legends, and Heroes of New Earth was pay to play, and League of Legends wasn't. So I was like, might as well just play League of Legends, see how much I like the genre still, see if I still have like skills at it, or if I'm just like gonna be like completely noob. Like I didn't know what was gonna happen. So yeah, that's pretty much how I got into it. I like League of Legends because I was good at it. It was like the truth of the matter. It just became like a game that I felt like comfortable in. I like understood like all the items, like and it was just like an easy way for me to transition into like playing a game and playing it at a high level. So my first main champion was Shaco. I just really liked the champion. It had everything that I looked for in a champion. It was strong at fighting 1v1. It had the ability to take jungle camps. You could use a lot of trickery, which at the time, like if you can imagine like how good people are now, well 2 years ago people weren't even close to that good, so you could abuse them so hard with a champion like Shaco that had stealth, and at the time Jack in the Boxes would be able to be thrown while you were stealth. So it's just so much like there were so many dynamics to that champion that I didn't feel like a lot of other champions had at that time. And I also just believed that Shaco was OP.
How did you like know you were going to pursue a professional career in League?
I didn't know for sure until I joined Dignitas, but after like season 1 DreamHack, I just had like this weird feeling like I was gonna like end up being part of that scene. I could see myself just playing in those games and like being there. So I guess like at that point that's when I like knew that I was gonna like at least try for it. When I started trying to join a team, it was about like June of 2011. So that's like kind of when DreamHack was. And I started looking for a team, and I joined like the first top 8 team that I could. So that ended up being Complexity. We didn't even have like a full roster at that point.
What's up? I'm IWillDominate. I'm from Miami, Florida, and I'm the jungler / top lane for Complexity Gaming.
And I played at my first event, which was IPL 3. And like I thought I had a good personal performance, but like our team was just like the players that would be on like teams back then were so much worse than the players that were on teams now. Like I remember we had a level 1. Where it was the most simple level 1 ever. Like we were just pretty much gonna run to a bush, they were gonna face check us, and we were just gonna kill them all. And our Alistar forgot how to level up abilities. did not level up anything and instantly died and we got aced. This was against TSM. Like, I guess it was good for me to like play under that, and like I got a lot of confidence from it because I'm like, oh, like 1v1 in a lane, like I can like hang with like any of these players that are like big right now. Like back then it was like Rain Man and like Boy and Hotshot were like the big laners.
So how did you get introduced to Dignitas, or to the professional scene of Dignitas rather?
Well, so I'd played with Locust before, who was a member of Dignitas, and at that time they were kind of looking for a new jungler. I tried out for them, and it went well, and they thought I'd work with the team, so they picked me.
So you weren't allowed to compete professionally, but you were still really involved with League of Legends, the competitive amateur scene. Talk about how you stayed motivated.
So like as soon as I was banned, I knew I wanted to like play again. I talked to like my family briefly about it, and they actually encouraged me to make it back from this. Like, oh, this is just like an obstacle in life. Like if you can come back from this, like it'll just like it'll do a lot for you like as a person. So I knew I wanted to come back, and I didn't know exactly how. So I just kind of went with whatever I thought would keep me in the best shape, which was just like playing in the amateur scene. So it was definitely like a good way for me to like stay in shape. And then obviously like from that amateur team, we ended up getting picked up by Curse, and Liquid offered me to move into the house. So that was another opportunity to just be around an LCS team like all the time, understand how they do things, figure out like what I could contribute to that if I were to like play for them and things like that. So it was just a good way for me to just like stay in it and just eventually make it back to like where I am now. So I guess like the biggest struggle was watching LCS games and just like wondering like, oh, like would I have like done that? Could I have like done more in this situation? Things like that.
You posted a tweet saying that you wanted to reevaluate your situation. Kind of talk to me about what you were evaluating.
So I was reevaluating if I wanted to like stay in the amateur scene or not, which I ended up not doing. Yeah, I just wanted to reevaluate how I was spending my time, because I didn't think that at that point my best use was being with an amateur team and trying to like make people comfortable at LANs and trying to like work with us to get better, because I knew that that team could never qualify. That's like the main thing that people kind of leave out when they like tell the stories. They're like, oh, he just like left his team because they didn't qualify for like the LCS qualifier. That wasn't the case at all. Like, we could never have qualified for LCS because we had a player who was 16 and was going to be 16 during qualification. So I knew that the team could never qualify, and I just realized that my time would be better spent working closely with Curse, just being in the environment, than practicing with an amateur team. It was pretty much just like at that point I couldn't be a player. Like, I knew I always wanted to be a player, but I also knew I could provide a lot of insight from a player perspective that a lot of like analysts right now like can't do. Like, you see analysts like Monte Cristo and things, they have a really good grasp of like overall like game decision making. So I could provide like a lot more insight on like personally, like, yeah, you could have played like the lane like this, like because he started this skill you have like these levels to pressure him, things like that I thought were kind of like getting left out.
Liquid made the decision to overhaul the starting lineup. How do you think you were chosen to be the starting jungler?
I'm pretty sure I was chosen the same way everyone else is chosen, which was just like through the tryouts. I played a lot of tryouts since I was in the house at the time, and they needed a jungler for a lot of it. And I think I like worked well with the team. They knew personality-wise that I got along with everyone. So as soon as I like verified to them that like my skill was appropriate, yeah, they just wanted me on the team.
You know, I had him play on Curse Academy. I was kind of evaluating him while he was there. When he decided to leave Curse Academy and go into more of this like coach analyst role, I had him work with the team, participate in the analyst sessions, and that whole experience was really positive. Dom has been able to prove himself not only as a really strong player, but he's also improved so much of his behind the scenes type of stuff, his synergy with teammates, his attitude in game, his ability to like pump up his team. He has a really like we versus I attitude, and I love that. And he has a really good energy. He, as Voyboy says, he gets like hyphy, you know, like Dom will be the one to really make that forceful call and bring everybody to a center and to like a line decision during the game. And I needed that. I needed somebody with expertise and experience. He's played with multiple competitive teams in the past, so all of these things kind of added up as, hey, this is the right decision.
So how do you feel about, filling the void left by Saintvicious?
I mean, it's definitely like a lot of pressure because like, I mean, Saint was probably like the most famous jungler that we've had in North America for the last, well, since League of Legends has existed. So it's definitely like big shoes to fill. Also just like from like a shot calling responsibility. But I definitely feel like at this point I can do it. Like I have a lot of experience myself. Like I did play for like a year at the highest level. So I think that if there's like anyone that can fill the void, it's me.
Saint and Dom are kind of like buddy. You know, they get along really well. They, I think they just relate to one another. There's an age similarity. There's kind of a background similarity. So, they hang out. They're kind of like friends in the house. They get along really well. And they love talking about the game. That's one thing that they share in common, that they do incessantly. There's this kind of like symbiotic, entrenched in the game, and they love to talk about it. So that's kind of what pulls them together.
Like, since I do have a good relationship with Saint, like, he can be honest with me. He can just tell me, like, wow, you, like, played that terribly. Like, you should have done this. And, like, I won't take offense to it because, like, I respect his opinion. And I feel like that's, like, a good relationship to have compared to, like, for example, somebody new who moved into the house that, like, might be like, wow, this guy's, like, a jerk. Like yeah, we can just be honest with each other. So, like, I don't really view it as, like, oh, I have, like, all these advantages over Saint. I view it as like I'm a different player, and then all the strengths that Saint had, he can kind of like help me like inject into my game. One of the most important things about a team dynamic is that like everyone gets along and everyone's like friendly, like outside of the game, and then like inside the game, people like are able to like get better and no one's like taking offense and you don't get into pointless arguments, and that like almost never happens here. Like we're all friends outside the game. We go out to eat after every match, win or lose. And we just like always just like talk and hang out, and like it's just like a better team. It feels like a productive team dynamic. I don't know how else to like explain it, because I've been on like a lot of teams and I know what like productive team dynamic feels like and what a negative team dynamic feels like, and this definitely feels productive. Like I can see us being good together. I can see us like improving it, and it really gives me like a lot of confidence, the fact that we improve like every week. I think I'm at a disadvantage from from an LCS player that had been playing the whole split, but I'm definitely at an advantage over the people that have never played at the highest level before, because I do have competitive experience. So it's mainly just like kicking myself into shape and just being on top of the meta. No one except for the players really has that good idea of what's actually happening, which is kind of like expected. Like how could they? But everyone thinks they do. So it's just like a weird dynamic that I guess I'm just getting more and more used to. The opinions I care about are all in this house, like my manager, all my teammates, coach, like even like players like Rux that we have here, Jackie, like all those people's opinions are the ones that actually matter to me. And like that was how I got through when they were calling me terrible. All my teammates had my back. They're like, yeah, we think you're strong. Like just keep on doing what you're doing. Like we'll be a good team. And like I care about the team being good. Like I don't really care about them calling me bad. If they all want to say I'm terrible and we end up like being like a top 2 team in NA, great. Like I really don't care.
Most people for a competitive video game that want to do their career, if they were to get banned, they would just say, screw it. I'm just not, like, this is too hard. I'm just going to go do something else. Something's to be said for his drive, his dedication. Like most people wouldn't just like train and be in the industry for a year with the anticipation of coming back, and also like trying to break the stigma that had been associated with him. Like that takes a lot of confidence. That takes a lot, and he has that because he's a really damn good player. So I saw all those things, and I still believe that he's gonna be kind of the pillar to the team and our success in the next season.
I don't think well, I definitely think I'm a little bit wiser because I spent a lot more time watching, but like it was kind of like a trade-off, because while my game knowledge got better during the time that I was an analyst, I was playing less, so my mechanics got worse. So now I'm bringing back my mechanics and trying to like maintain my game knowledge. So I'm not like at the point I want to be yet, but I definitely think that it's definitely like it looks good going into the future. I like where I'm at. When my career is all said and done, I just want to be remembered as somebody who was clutch, and a good teammate, and somebody who's consistently strong in all the tournaments he played in.